Hey guys, it's 21 Maxwell here, and welcome to another edition of WWE Updates. We're well on the road in 2018, onwards to WrestleMania 35, and we're on to our first full pay-per-view with both Raw, SmackDown in attendance, and ECW as well, after WrestleMania 34, which is of course Money in the Bank today. So we've got a couple of title matches. We have two big Money in the Bank briefcase matches, one for the men, one for the women. So we can guarantee this evening that one man's life is going to be changed and one woman's life is going to be changed as well, as they near enough guarantee themselves a championship reign. They guarantee themselves a championship match, but will they guarantee win that? Not so much, we can't guarantee that, but we'll see what happens down the line. So 26 segments take up the full 5-hour show. When you've got so many wrestlers, it's easy to fill this up and have a lot of people still missing off the card. And we've filled up quite a good bit of the pre-show as well. Just a couple of matches with wrestlers we're hoping to push in the future. So without further ado, Money in the Bank 2018, we are going to be in Canada for it. Let's run the show. So we end up with 46,872 at the place in British Columbia. And the first pre-show matchup had decent wrestling, but it didn't have much heat. And it saw Cody Rhodes, the returning American Nightmare, defeat Darren Young in 10:57 with the Beautiful Disaster. C plus 71, 73 performance for Darren Young, a 68 for Cody Rhodes, as he looks to show that he's back and with a vengeance in 2018. No skill improvements in this one, negatives none either, so a good match up here that hopefully is the beginning of the resurgence. Cody Rhodes. Next up, we've got some cruiserweight action, basically bringing some of the tag team specialists down just to freshen up a little bit. We had a matchup that had decent wrestling, but also didn't have much heat, and it was Manny Andrade who defeated Chad Gable, Ricochet, Kalisto, Tony Nese, and Chris Sabin in 11:18 when Manny Andrade defeated Tony Nese by pinfall with a split-legged corkscrew senton. A C plus 68, so not amazing. 66 for Ricochet. 70 for Chad Gable, Manny Andrade with a 77 performance, very good there. Kalisto with 59, Tony Nese with 52, and Chris Sabin also delivered a 59 performance. But you can see who we're trying to push in the future in this division. Kalisto and Chad Gable, improving their Rumble skills. Just thought, let's try Gable in singles competition with guys who are about his size. We'll probably try something with Jordan down the line, but I don't have any plans to split American Alpha just as yet. And negative wise, few inconsistencies, and Chris Sabin generally is a little bit unhappy. And the main event for the pre-show had good wrestling and had a decent reaction from the crowd, and it saw Bayley defeat Paige in 13:25 by pinfall with the Hugplex. A B78 solid matchup considering we don't have a storyline at the moment. Bayley with an 80 performance, Paige with a 79. One of our matches where Paige main evented, I think it was on SmackDown, she got a 90 rating involved in that. It was part of I think it was an 8-person tag match, so it just shows that Paige on her day can deliver some godly performances in this. But no skill improvements here, and cap for the short match length, but a good win for Bayley as she looks to have a strong 2018. So we start the pay-per-view, and we have Miz TV to start the show with his guest Daniel Bryan. Basically, the Miz, as we all know, defeated The Rock at WrestleMania. He loves to let people know that. And of course, he came up short in the championship match at Extreme Rules. And for that, he blames Daniel Bryan for adding everyone into that match, the likes of Braun Strowman and John Cena. So the Miz says, he is not going to rest until Daniel Bryan fixes this, until the Miz becomes champion again. So basically, he just taunts Daniel Bryan the fact that he'll never beat at WrestleMania again. And at the end of this, Daniel Bryan just loses the head and he attacks The Miz, and that gets an A94 rating. Daniel Bryan not suited to his gimmick. The storyline advances and gains heat. Got the show off to a strong start and it got the crowd hotter. Daniel Bryan improves acting. Negatives, just the low storyline heat. Because of his actions, Daniel Bryan has added The Miz to a blockbuster main event to make it Roman Reigns versus The Miz versus John Cena. So a B plus 84, that's his punishment. The crowd got hotter again. Two storylines advance with the Bryan storyline. gaining a little bit of heat. First up, we have our Money in the Bank match, the male one, and it was about that had some great wrestling and good heat, and it was the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin who defeated Cesaro, the Intercontinental Champion Zack Sabre Jr., AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, and Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match in 21:49 when he retrieved the Money in the Bank briefcase. He now has that title apparently. Kenny Omega was a weak link here. Again, we're trying to build up Kenny, so putting him in here with some blockbuster athletes. A B80 rating is okay. 90 performances for Ziggler, Sabre Jr. and AJ Styles, and 89 for Cesaro, 94 for Baron Corbin, and a 70 for Kenny Omega. So could this be Baron Corbin's year? And the storyline between Sabre Jr. and AJ, that advances. Dolph Ziggler improves Rumble skills, Baron Corbin and flying. Overall, few negatives there for the storylines. I think that maybe dropped it down a little bit than it should have been, but nonetheless, it was placed there to show that the Lone Wolf is on the prowl to become a champion. Having picked up the victory, Baron Corbin then celebrates with the briefcase in hand, and that is a solid B plus 88. Performance of Baron Corbin was good, and he celebrates. The crowd boo him, but he is going to be a future champion down the line. The current United States champion. Could he become a dual champion? It remains to be seen. Next up, Kevin Owens comes out and he says, for weeks now, him and Samoa Joe, they've had this little back and forth between them. Kevin Owens doesn't have a match tonight, so he's like, come on, Samoa Joe, you can come out here, we can do this one more time. And just like all these stupid people in British Columbia, Kevin Owens will send Samoa Joe packing. So an A90 rating for that promo. KO's kind of been lost since CM Punk decided just to quit, being a quieter again, as he would say. So we really need to get Kevin Owens back on the charge, get into 2018, get into SummerSlam. And he's a matchup with Joe, which is okay. It's no storyline really connected to it. I haven't put that in because it's a short program. But it was about that had great wrestling and good heat, and Kevin Owens defeats Samoa Joe in 12:49 with a package pile driver. B81, Joe win 83, and KO 90 performance. No skill improvements overall. As I say, this is capped because of the length of the match, but a good win, and hopefully some momentum gained for Kevin Owens on the Kevin Owens show. Next up, we've got Charlotte. She's hyping up her matchup with Liv Morgan. Liv is, of course, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte has said to her, you can only get lucky so many times. You've got no cronies here to help you this time, and I'm going to take back what should be mine, and that is the SmackDown Women's Championship. A B82. How will the matchup do? Because these two have awful chemistry, so I'm thinking this may flop to about a C plus maybe. We'll see how it goes. And it did that indeed. Decent matchup, but Liv defeats Charlotte in 10:35 by pinfall with a surprise cradle. She makes the 4th defence of the SmackDown Championship. Again, I don't want to take it off her just yet, so it's a good name for her to overcome. C plus 68. They don't seem to click and it made it an awkward bout. They're just really lacking over baby faces on SmackDown, so I think we may need to look at turning someone. Paige possibly. May even move Sasha over as a babyface to work with Liv. But 64 performance for Charlotte, 62 for Liv. Both are better than that, but it's a case these two don't work well together, and they were both holding back. So it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances, but hopefully can benefit Liv in the long run. Next up, we had the Cruiserweight Championship on the line, and it was about also decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. And it saw Will Ospreay defeat Neville, who's recently turned heel, in 12:27 by pinfall with a 6:30 splash. Ospreay makes the defence number 4, the championship, the Cruiserweight title, C plus 68. Unfortunately, he was off his game and he's slowed down by elbow tendonitis. Neville not suited to his gimmick, so I need to change that a little. And a 62 performance for Ospreay, 65 for Neville, but that's decent. So hopefully we can build it up. It's all about getting these workers. Some of them will make it further. Some of them won't have the entertainment skills to get any further than this division. But Ospreay improving performance skills, and negatives there, just really Ospreay being inconsistent and for working injured. Next up, we had the Trios Championships on the line. Now, the champions, of course, were Los Luchador, Arhos, Argenis, and Caristico. Basically, there was a bit of a dispute between Rich Swann and Argenis, and I may have accidentally fired him. I thought I clicked fine, but apparently I clicked fire. So he's gone. The championships were vacated, and we also have an unhappy Caristico and Arhos in this one. So new champions at the moment got out of this match is the Dynamite Express and Jay Lethal. Their challengers were the Perfect Gentlemen of the Vaudevillains and Jack Gallagher. And this matchup had decent wrestling but little heat. And Jay Lethal and the Dynamite Express defeated Jack Gallagher and the Vaudevillains in 10:47 when Rich Swann defeated Jack Gallagher with the Chicken Fried Driver, and they made the first defence of the WWE Trios Championships. So a B-76. Again, the glitch is happening with Rich Swann's gimmick. He's again got a thrill seeker gimmick. It was awful. Slowed down a little bit by injury. 70th performance from Jay Lethal, giving him something to do. 48 for Rich Swann, 65 for Shane Strickland, 38 for Jack Gallagher, and a 79 for Simon Gotch, and a 76 for Aiden English. So not too bad there. I'll need to probably see what we're going to do with Rich Swann. He does seem to be glitched in this, so we'll see what we can do. If it means, as I say, maybe bringing in our Rich Swann into the database from somewhere else, or just releasing this one, or feeding him to a development system, remains to be seen. But Shane Strickland improves performance skills, and a few negatives there, because Rich Swann is probably having the effects of staying up all night long. Next up, we've got a promo from the tag team champions, Mojo Bojo, everyone's heroes, Mojo Rawley and Bo Dallas. They've been feuding with Enzo and Big Cass, who are obviously done feuding with KO and CM Punk. Mojo Bojo says, why are Enzo and Big Cass running their mouths? They are clearly the greatest tag team on Raw, and Enzo and Cass. They can't teach that as much as they like to say that as their catchphrase. So an A92 for our tag champs, and a big test for them here. The matchup had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and it saw Mojo Bojo defeat Enzo and Big Cass in 12:31 when Mojo Bojo defeated Enzo Amore by pinfall. During the matchup, we had Big Cass turn around and attack Enzo Amore, thus turning heel. Mojo Bojo make defense number 1. The WWE World Tag Team titles. Mojo was a weak link, but we need to put him over. B82 is an okay rating, I feel. A lot of these are still in development. We're still getting them to that next level. Big Cass not suited to his gimmick, but that will be changing. Cass win 84, Enzo win 82, Mojo with a 65, and Bo Dallas with a 76. But this could be a great feud, I think, in the lines here between Big Cass and Enzo. Will handle the change, so it's a complete turn for Big Cass. Basically, he's only had one segment, and he'll be changing to a man in a mission gimmick. But it's one of those quick, sharp turns. Man in a mission, the initial gimmick change was very good, and the turn was a complete success. I don't think we're doing many quick turns, so I felt this was a time we could fit one in very quickly that maybe no one suspected. Big Cass improves technical skills, Bo Dallas in Rumble, and Enzo Amore in performance skills. Negatives, just a short match length, but a good win for the champions. We'll bring some new tag teams in to face up against them, and we have a big feud between Enzo and Big Cass. Maybe elevate both of them to higher singles competition. And basically after this, we just have Big Cass putting the shit out of Enzo. So B82 there, and it's Big Cass and Enzo's feud starting to take off. Next up, we had the Women's Money in the Bank match. We decided to give it to people who haven't been a champion on the main roster. So it's about to have subpar wrestling and little heat, and it was Sienna Allison who defeated Peyton Royce, Hikaru Shida, Asuka, Nicole Matthews, and Ember Moon in a ladder match in 14:30 when Sienna Allison retrieved the item and she wins the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So a big push for her in the future. Want to try and make her to be a dominating women's wrestler into 2018. C plus 66 isn't bad considering these are the ones that aren't so over. Announcing quality and colour commentary boosted the match. 54 for Ember Moon, 64 Peyton Royce, 56 for Hikaru Shida, 58 for Asuka, 61 for Nicole Matthews, and 57 for Sienna. So a long way to go with her push here, but hopefully we can really build her up. Sienna improves Rumble and performance skills, and there's also a Rumble improvement for Nicole Matthews. And if we look at our negatives here, just really the poor momentum of Asuka. Next up, we've got Apollo Crews on the mic, and he says, this feud with him and Bray Wyatt has been on for a while. Bray Wyatt's never going to change who Apollo Crews is and what Apollo Crews stands for. He's here to have a good time. He's here to just smile. And that gets a B-. 77 promo. He's definitely not as over. I think this feud has definitely harmed him rather than helped him. And the matchup itself wasn't great. I think we may look at ending this feud and trying something different. But it was a superb matchup that saw Bray Wyatt defeat Apollo Crews in 17-15 by pinfall, with a standing senton splash. B- 77, Bray was tiring towards the end. An 87 for Apollo Crews, 89 for Bray, and the storyline continues, but I say we'll end that. Apollo Crews improving performance skills, and I think the storyline hasn't really gotten over, and that's why it just seemed to have flopped there. I think a lot of storylines I'm only really touching it with maybe one segment, a promo and a match per show. I might need to try to do 3-4 segments per show just to try and push storylines more over. But I think that's just such a big roster. Try to get as many people on the show as possible. Next up, Sami Zayn has a promo for his matchup with Big E. And A94 here. Basically, Sami says, he's for basically his whole wrestling career been the underdog from the underground, and he's going to show, Big E may be a monster, but this is the chance for Sami Zayn to get himself back into contention to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So A94 storyline gained a bit of heat, and the matchup itself actually was spectacular. In a matchup that had great wrestling and good heat, Sami Zayn defeats Big E in 15-23 by pinfall with a Helluva Kick. A90, spectacular from these two. Sami Zayn with 88, Big E win 81. Sami looks strong, but as I say, get a great performance out of Big E here. No skill improvements. And I think if they're going to get matches like this, I think we can give them another couple of months to work together and hopefully put on a spectacular matchup. But delighted with that. Next up, we've got Seth Rollins, and he's just cut a promo on Braun Strowman, E+88. He says Braun's done well to come basically out of the Wyatt's family shadows, become the man who beat The Undertaker and then become the WWE Champion. But he's not, he's facing up against the man, the architect, Seth Rollins, and he's going to show, the guy who broke the Shield is also going to break the streak, or the title reign of Braun Strowman. But a good, interesting matchup here. I'm not sure how it's going to go, which is why it's third from last in our main event. But hopefully they can make this deliver. And oh my god, they have. And about that had sensational wrestling and fantastic heat, Braun Strowman defeats Seth Rollins in 22:01 by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. So Braun defends his title for the first time and seems to have put on an absolute masterclass with Seth. So it certainly surprised me there with an A95. Good chemistry between them, which lifted the match. That's good to see as well. Corey Graves was pretty weak though, but a 97 for Seth, a 96 for Braun. I think we might just keep these two going at it. Let's milk these ratings. A good match up there. No skill improvements, just a negative of the commentary work and the inconsistency of Braun, but absolutely fantastic between him and Seth. Long live the reign of Big Braun Strowman. Next up, Dean Ambrose then cuts a promo on Randy Orton. He says it's been a little while since Dean Ambrose was involved in a championship match, but he's been watching and he feels like it's his time now to just show the world, he's really a lunatic and that he can take out a Viper with no problems. He's willing to be stung by the Viper as long as it means that he's leaving with the championship belt. So B+89. Dean came out of this looking excellent and the storyline advanced. Negative just for being short. I did all my promos at 5 minutes, so if I made them at 6 it wouldn't be the case, but just prefer keeping it at 5. And their match was absolutely exceptional as well. It was for a World Heavyweight Championship, and Dean Ambrose did defeat Randy Orton in 23-23 by disqualification. A96, so the championship stays with Randy. A 96 performance from Dean, and 92 for Randy Orton. But overall, just a really good match up there. Gained a bit of heat, and I think we'll keep this storyline going as well. As I say as well, Randy Orton improving performance skills. Let's see, just the inconsistency of Randy. Overall, just a spectacular matchup with these two. Randy Orton can be 38 in this and still be pulling off spectacular matches, so absolutely delighted with that. And after it, Randy Orton just continues to lay out Dean Ambrose to continue their feud on with an A90 segment. Ambrose comes out of it looking excellent as the underdog. Randy Orton looks as vicious and as dangerous as ever. And it continues the feud, getting it a little bit more heat into the storyline. This then leads us to The Miz cutting a promo on Daniel Bryan. Disappointingly only a B81 here, but as I say, this is really tense stuff between these two. He's obviously really disappointed in the whole situation with Daniel Bryan, and he wants to be champion. He doesn't want to be put into these kind of matchups. He just wants the championship match. But Miz's performance was good. The storyline gained a bit of heat. The B81. The matchup actually flopped massively. I thought this would succeed. That's why I put it as main event. Obviously, I'm regretting this now with our two co-main event matchups. But it was an exceptional matchup, which saw Roman Reigns defeat The Miz and John Cena in a triple threat match in 23:02, when Roman Reigns defeated The Miz via pinfall. B79, Cena not suited to his gimmick. The storyline lost a bit of heat, but the match suffered from the lack of psychology. Obviously, free workers are not known for great psychology in this game. Definitely hampered it. But a 97 from Roman Reigns, a 94 from The Miz, and an 87 from John Cena. Let's have a look here. Worker improvements, none. Negatives, lack of psychology is going to hamper it a good bit, and declining physical ability of John Cena. After this though, The Miz is in the ring, and then Daniel Bryan decides to come in and beat the crap out of him. Basically, what the storyline will go to now, as we head into future pay-per-views, Daniel Bryan is going to be coming back as an active competitor, and his first feud is of course going to be with The Miz. So we're going to bring D-Bry back. He's someone I always love booking in TW and EWR, and I feel like it's just, I want one last run with him in this kind of situation. I'd love to try a lot of dream matches, Bryan Rollins, Bryan against Reigns again, Strowman. There's all these matchups I'd love to try. A B plus 87. It continues the storyline between Bryan and Miz, and it gained a little bit of heat. As I say, that's more likely going to take place at SummerSlam, so we'll have some sort of stipulation in the match, in Miz's match at whatever the pay-per-view is for July for Raw. I'll be honest, I can't remember off the top of my head. So rating's going to be hit a little bit here. Yep, B85, B plus 85, but realistically, if we have this matchup before the two championship matches, I think we're looking at a, maybe not an A plus, but we're definitely gaining pop. So a B8 plus 85 here. Let me know what you thought about the show, which people you think don't deserve to go over. Is there anything there that surprised you? Any people there you don't think deserve the push? Who should be going down the card? Let me know on that as well. I think what we have to do is praise Seth, Braun, and to keep them happy, Kevin Owens. So we'll just point them all out as good examples. Pleased, pleased, and pleased. It's good to see there. But it's just one of those things with TW. If you don't get the main event right, effectively that does take up most of your show. And I was hoping, I know there'd be a lack of psychology between John and Roman. I was hoping the Miz being the third wheel in there would hopefully have helped it. So look here, Daisy Hayes back to wrestling, Raven to CMLL, Money in the Bank. It got fantastic reviews, so we can always look at that. And Aaliyah get 75% pay rise. We're not short of dosh. We had a lot of our we're obviously getting sued by a couple of TV deals because of the big competition we had, the World Grand Prix, because of television deals. Didn't take off too much money. I think it worked out it was maybe about 7-8 million, which with the money we've got in the bank, they're perfectly fine with that, so it's not hampered us too much. And we're looking to try and bring in Satoshi Kojima. We'll be rivaling TNA. Just want another guy we can bring in that's got a good bit of overness that can put over a few people. 19k they're offering him. Might just let him go to TNA actually. I don't really want to go more than a year. And I'd rather that just the way he helps put people over, so no, we'll just let him go to TNA then. 3.81 there. 11k in the drug testing. John Cena continuing to love Chad Gable. So like our next pay-per-view. Battleground for Raw, so we'll have something between Bryan and Miz, just confirming that SummerSlam match. And the Bash is SmackDown's next one. But not a lot of change in terms of overness, knowing and the importance and the popularity. We do need to keep nailing out 87 rated shows to try and get the overness up in the Canada, the US, Mexico and Japan. But we'll have a few shows in the mid-Atlantic, try and boost that up. So we're quite happy at the stage we're at the moment. Following a few of the superstars, it's just trying to get that prestige and momentum up and continue to be the top company in the world. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching as always. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a little like if you can. If you get any comments, please let me know, as I say, regarding what you'd like to see getting pushed in the future. Anyone you'd like us to try and sign in. Any thoughts on the series is all deeply appreciated. As I say, likes, subscriptions, shares, all that jazz is deeply appreciated. If you don't want to get involved in TW, the game is available from the Grey Dog Software forum and website. You can get it there. There's a lot of information there. Good little community there, as on the Fantasy Bookers subreddit. And although 2016 isn't available on Steam, 2013 is available on Steam. I believe it is about 14 quid. So it's 14 quid for that, 27 quid for this one, it seems, with the current exchange rate. As I say, you can always try the demo, and there is older versions and EWR that are all available as freeware. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time as we prepare to enter the battleground. Bye bye.